Former FBI agent confirming and corroborating to the House Oversight Committee key details of what the IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley said in testimony about the alleged cover-up into Hunter Biden's shady business deals, the influence peddling of the Biden family. The committee says that the agent told them how both the Secret Service and the Biden transition team were tipped off about their planned Hunter Biden interview the night before. And on the day of the interview, federal agents were told to stand by and not approach Hunter Biden. Tomorrow, IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, whistleblower X, and House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith will appear before the House Oversight Committee in testimony. Joining me right now to get ahead of it is Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. He is a member of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. This story continues with new information every day. First, let's talk about the agent now corroborating what Gary Shapley said. What can you tell us?
Well, the agent has confirmed two important aspects of it, and it's the theme of the whole thing of this investigation. Number one is the Biden family itself and their dealings, and so he's corroborated everything from the transactions that took place. The other thing that goes on is the actual interference by Department of Justice into that investigation being conducted by line IRS agents and other line agents, that they basically came in and stopped search warrants from being executed. They tipped off Hunter Biden's attorneys and the Secret Service to prevent him from being interviewed by these line agents. And then they have the audacity to come back and say, let's stand down. We're not going to go in and do any of this stuff. So he's corroborating of what the IRS whistleblowers have said as well. So this is being corroborated throughout and being ignored by the Democrats and the left. But the reality is this is becoming more salient, there's more gravitas, there's more weight to this all the time. And that's what we're going to see tomorrow when we get these whistleblowers in front of the Oversight Committee.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds awfully familiar to me in terms of what the FBI did for Hillary Clinton. And now they're doing the same thing, protecting the Biden family, if these whistleblowers are correct. What are you going to get tomorrow when you speak with all of these people under sworn testimony? What are you expecting to drill down on?
Well, I think we're going to see on the actual investigation side of it, they're going to corroborate that there were 20 different shell corporations, multiple accounts, millions of dollars coming through, being laundered through those accounts. They'll corroborate the suspicious activities reports, and that Joe Biden was the big guy. I think they're going to corroborate that. And that gets to the other part. They're also going to talk about the slow walking and the interference, that they were not even allowed to interview Hunter Biden, and that when they believed him to be the big guy, they were basically told to stand down. The optics are bad. We can't go in and investigate. And they basically pulled the plug on this investigation. So it's going to be dramatic corroboration of much of what we've heard, but they'll expand on it.
You know, Congressman, we've spoken with James Comer a number of times, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, who has told us that he's trying to identify what specifically the Biden family was being paid for. So you're talking about 20 different shell accounts, which were receiving money from foreigners, and then from there, the money was going into Biden family accounts. Yeah. What specific job or policy decision can you identify to warrant this kind of money that he was being paid?
Well, first of all, there's no legitimate reason for those accounts to be set up. There's no legitimate product or service that they're providing. What we are finding, however, is that, I mean, the most glaring is that you got Tony Bobulinski previously testified that Joe Biden was the big guy. And the most glaring example of a service that leads to the belief of corruption is Joe Biden's coming out afterwards saying that he held $1 billion of taxpayer funding that was supposed to go to Ukraine hostage until the Attorney General of Ukraine, the main prosecutor, who was investigating Burisma, by the way, upon a company who Hunter Biden sat as a director and another Hunter Biden associate sat as directors, and they were getting paid big money. Joe Biden held that money hostage until that Attorney General was fired by the then president of Ukraine. And then that money was released. Yeah.
This is just unbelievable, Congressman. What about China? Because there are so many actions that this president has taken, whether as president or even as vice president, with regards to China. And it's so soft. For example, he signed a memorandum of understanding back in 2014, allowing Chinese companies to trade on U.S. exchanges but not follow auditing rules. I mean, who the heck would put that in place, putting investors in America at risk of investing in these companies when they have no idea if their audits are actually on the level, if what they're telling us in terms of their profits are actually real? We allow these companies to trade on major exchanges, and we don't need them to follow the same auditing rules that American companies do?
Yeah, people who would sign that kind of agreement might just be seeing money filtered in from a Chinese energy company called CEFC, close ties to the Chinese Communist Party, that is providing millions of dollars, again, millions of dollars through these same shell corporations, through these same bank accounts, for actually nothing more than those types of influence and those kind of policies. And so people wonder, is Joe Biden basically compromised as vis-a-vis the Chinese Communist Party, which runs China, of course. And these things begin to look real. And we're talking, Maria, we're talking literally, it's not $10 million, it's well over $20-30 million, and some estimates as high as $100 million flowing through these accounts. And so we have to get to the bottom of it, but we're getting slow walked ourselves from the administration, obviously, and their partisans and their supporters. But this looks more and more sinister every time we look at it. And just if we could release the SARs, which we cannot, they're classified yet, but those suspicious activities reports will be corroborated by these whistleblowers tomorrow.
Unbelievable. As much as $100 million taken in by the Biden family is what you just said. And we don't know why they were paid so much and why they were accepting money from foreigners. We've all been trying to understand, how is it possible that Joe Biden has so many homes, for example? Okay, he's got several homes. What's the salary of a senator? $150,000, $175,000? How is it possible that on a $150,000 salary every year, he's got 3 or 4 homes?
Well, it doesn't seem possible unless he'd done something in private life. But wait, he hasn't. He's been in government for his entire adult life. So, I mean, and there's the emails about Hunter Biden being very upset because he's having to support his whole family. Well, how's Hunter Biden supporting his whole family? He's got shell businesses, shell corporations that he is receiving money in, playing on his father's position to getting that money. He's not really doing anything for it, whether it be sitting on an energy company that he has no business, has no idea what energy is all about. So it's corruption. I view the family as a crime syndicate because it isn't just the family itself. They've got satellites around them helping them facilitate their transactions, and so it's pretty massive, pretty deep, and quite frankly, our federal investigative agencies. The line agents were working hard on this, but they were being stymied by people at the top.
I mean, how are we ever going to trust the FBI again after all of this politicization, all of these years? And by the way, the cabinet doesn't want to hear about it. Reporters grilling White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. She does not even want to go there. But that's what we're seeing yesterday on the White House cocaine probe, ending with no suspects or leads. Take a look at this.
You said that it was very important to President Biden that the Secret Service get to the bottom of who brought it into the White House. So can you just talk about his reaction when he learned that the investigation did not end with a suspect?
No.
So is the president satisfied with the explanation that someone was able to bring an illegal substance into the White House because there are hundreds of people who come here?
What I will say is that the Secret Service did a thorough investigation.
So we're supposed to believe that the Secret Service did a thorough investigation, Congressman. There are so many cameras in the White House, and there were no fingerprints, there were no shots of who left cocaine at the most important house in the country, if not the world.
Yeah, I mean, it is disturbing. I mean, they claim that there were no cameras in the lobby of the West Wing entrance there, but they have cameras outside. They claim there were hundreds of people who came in the time frame they were examining. But look, when you look at that bag, it was left in there. You would just imagine there's fingerprints on it. You imagine there's fingerprints on it because no one had gloves on. No one would have had gloves on.
Yeah, exactly.